Don't worry about these drones. It's not aliens. It's not Iran. It's just the government hunting nuclear weapons that have gone missing. That's the new hotness. That's the new theory that's making the rounds. So don't worry. If you live in the New Jersey area, to all of the Catriots out there in New York and New Jersey and Delaware, if you're in the Maryland area, if you hear drones buzzing above your house late at night, if you walk out to your car and you see 50 large drones flying in the sky for weeks on end, don't have no fear. They mean you no harm. They're just trying to find radioactive material that apparently has gone missing. That's at least according to one military contractor. We're going to bring you that story here in just a minute. Man, what a crazy weekend. All kinds of stuff going on. First you had Alejandro Mayorkas out there on ABC News saying dumb stuff about the drones. Then you had Chris Christie out there saying dumb stuff about the drones. Now you've got really still no explanation about these drones. And it looks like there's no end in sight, at least until, well, they find whatever it is they seem to be looking for. And looking for something seems to be, like I said, the new most obvious solution, or what people are saying is the most obvious solution for these drones and their presence in New Jersey. Also, a little later on today, we're going to be bringing you another K's Kid. I can't believe it's our final week before Christmas, and our K's Kids 12 Days of Christmas celebration is coming to an end. It's happy and sad at the same time. It's happy because we were able to find 12 kids, and with all of your generosity and your generous support through our poker tournaments and other fundraising efforts throughout the year, K's Kids was able to again surprise 12 really amazing and really deserving children with dream gifts this Christmas. So we appreciate it. And like I said, we're heading into our final week, which is happy because we were able to do it, but sad because we won't be able to do it for another year. Or we won't do it for another. I mean, throughout the year, we're always helping out with Dreams Come True. We send kids on these fantastic vacations whenever there's a need, or there's funds that are required for something or other. Something else we do is we fund a lot of parties whenever they have like a new birthday party when they're done with their chemo treatments, a lot of these kids. And so we're able to help out with those as well. But again, because of your generosity. And we have another amazing K's Kid coming up in just a little while. Plus, Paul Stone from Colonial Metals Group will be joining us to talk about all these things going. It's amazing the economic boon that we are going to start seeing, that we've already seen. But there is going to be even more investment in the United States of America. There's going to be more economic growth. There's going to be more money, which according to P. Diddy means mo problems. And he may actually know a little something about that. So we'll just leave that one. We'll just let that one lie. We won't get too much into the we won't get too much into the Diddy stuff. We'll just let that one kind of hang out there. And also, I did want to mention this ABC News story with George Snuffleupagus, because $15 million ain't nothing to squawk at. Having to pay out $15 million to the president of the United States, that is something that is not inconsequential. Which means, I guess, it's consequential. That is something that is going to resonate, and actually has already resonated with the media. When ABC News settled. So here's basically the rundown. Here's how this happened. George Snuffleupagus was ordered by a court to sit down for a 4-hour deposition. This, of course, is all comes from his misstatements, if you will, about President Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll. He flat out lied, is what he did. He lied about how he said that, hold on, I had it here somewhere. I got a lot of clips today. I'm just trying to make sure. Here it is. Here's what he said. He was interviewing Nancy Mace, and it was right after the E. Jean Carroll suit. And he said this about President Donald Trump.
This morning, and you've endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and 2 separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape. How do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw?
Well, I will tell you, I was raped at the age of 16. And any rape victim will tell you, I've lived for 30 years.
Okay, the important part was right there at the beginning. The important part was when he lied about the jury finding Donald Trump liable for rape. That's not at all what happened. And, any basic news journalist would be able to differentiate between the two. But I guess George Snuffleupagus he's not a journalist. You have to keep in mind, this guy, his entire life has been an operative for the Democrat Party. George Snuffleupagus started as the communications director in the Clinton White House. That's where he cut his teeth. That's where he built up his brand. And as Megyn Kelly will tell you, his job was to silence women who were complaining about sexual misconduct or accusing President Clinton about sexual deviancy or abuse. And there were a lot of them. Juanita Broderick, our good friend from X, is one of them. But there were several. And Megyn Kelly likes to remind people that George Snuffleupagus saying anything bad or negative about Donald Trump, E. Jean Carroll, or anything else is about the most hypocritical thing ever, because his job was to suppress the truth from coming out, especially with these women who were accusing then President Bill Clinton.
I see how concerned you are that victims might not come forward if they are publicly attacked by their rapist or his defenders. To be sure, that is a very real concern. It happens all the time, which you know, because you invented it. Remember? When you created a whole command center designed to smear Bill Clinton's sexual assault and rape accusers so you could elevate him right into the presidency. The attorney representing many of Bill's accusers, and there were many, George, Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones, Jennifer Flowers, to name just a few, said you and James Carville, at Hillary Clinton's direction, formed a so-called war room, whose purpose was, quote, to destroy any woman that would challenge Bill Clinton.
And so what you have there, which is kind of interesting, what you have there is you have a truth statement, by the way, and I love the new untethered Megyn Kelly. I like the new Megyn Kelly, who is not tethered to any kind of...
I see how concerned you are that...
Wait, what happened? Hold on. We got a little issue I got to deal with. I like the new Megyn Kelly, who is untethered to any network and who is simply just... What is happening?
I see how concerned you are that victims...
That's enough. Who is untethered to any network and who is just, doesn't care anymore. I like the Megyn Kelly that's just speaking her mind and not trying to climb the corporate ranks of any kind of media company. It's much more entertaining and sarcastic, Megyn Kelly. And I'm all, like I said, I'm all here for it. That's the one that excites me. But she's 100% right. She's 100% right about George Stephanopoulos and his past indiscretions and covering up Bill Clinton's past indiscretions. And so that's kind of where we are. Now, it's interesting to see the media reaction, because the media, you think, would go, okay, we probably need to watch what we say about President Donald Trump. Okay, we probably need to only accurately report on the truth and not make up lies and propaganda or misspeak about important things like who's a rapist and who's not. No, MSNBC especially is saying this sets a bad precedent.
I would just say, this feels like it has a real chilling effect. Shout out to the standards department. Okay, standards is always making sure that we are keeping the bar high and substantive and accurate. But what George Stephanopoulos said in that interview, it seems to hold up with what the judge said after the fact. And now his news organization and himself, George Stephanopoulos himself, is paying $1 million of his own money to the lawyers, and ABC at $15 million. It's insane.
Yeah, it's totally insane. It's totally insane. He's paying that to the lawyers. It's nutso. Why is he doing that? And they don't like it at all. They think that this is something that the media should be able to get away with. They think that the media should be able to say what they want, whenever they want, not have to worry about the consequences if they accidentally misspeak or whatever. It's okay because Donald Trump's a bad person. They don't need to apologize for any reason because they've never done anything wrong. And it's really weird to see. It's really weird to see how these people are reacting too. For example, there's a couple of different sides to this. Trump let ABC off easy in settling for just $16 million over George Stephanopoulos' blatant defamation. Make no mistake, President-elect Donald Trump let ABC off easy. It only has to pay $15 million towards his future presidential library, plus $1 million for his lawyer's fees to get out of a defamation lawsuit it was sure to lose, and so avoid legal discovery that surely would have finished off whatever reputation its news division still has. The defamation came from George Stephanopoulos back in March 10th on the Sunday Show this week, when he repeatedly insisted Trump had been found liable for rape. So this article in the New York Post is saying Donald Trump let him off easy. They should have pressed forward with the suit. ABC News would have definitely lost that suit. They would have had to pony up way more money, and there would have been a lot of investigation and discovery into their news practices. There would have been emails and text messages that could have been unleashed and released to the public. There could have been various information. I mean, that 4-hour deposition that George Stephanopoulos was facing in and of itself could have been just so informative about censorship and the media and how they worked together with, I don't know, the Joe Biden White House, all these different things that have happened over the past few years, all these different things that we know. We know ABC's doing, that all the news networks are doing. And now what they're starting to see is the New York Post saying, look, you wasted a golden opportunity here, Trump team. Why did you settle for $15 million? You could have gotten a whole lot more in the way of money and also information. ABC News is also facing anger for settling the Trump suit as well. Newsweek writes, ABC faces anger after $15 million Trump settlement. Democracy dies. In a settlement announced on Saturday, ABC News agreed to pay $15 million toward Donald Trump's presidential library and issue a public apology. Trump filed the defamation, following the settlement, which came just days after U.S. Magistrate Judge Lizette Reed ordered the president-elect and Stephanopoulos to submit to 4-hour depositions. ABC News is facing backlash from both sides of the aisle. People are not going to forget what ABC did, said the Republicans on Twitter. Conservative political scientist Norman J. Ornstein add ABC to the basket of cowards in our media. Democratic attorney Mark Elias wrote, knee-bent, ring-kissed. Another legacy news outlet chooses obedience. Oliver Wills chimed in, this is actually how democracy dies. Tech reporter Matt Novak, not good for the rest of us when you do this, S blank 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 ABC. But that's probably half the point from management's perspective. So on the left, everybody's angry with ABC for settling because they feel like they just bent the knee and kissed the ring of Donald Trump and pledged obedience, when really what they were doing was they were paying for a mistake that they made, and they were ponying up for libelous defamation of character. But in the media industry, they see that as weakness. If you're going to libel somebody and if you're going to defame somebody, you have to stand by it, especially if it's somebody as evil and despicable and terrible and horrible as Donald Trump. And on the other side of the aisle, on the flip side of the coin, you've got Republicans saying, Donald Trump, you shouldn't have given up. You should have kept fighting, because then we would have gotten all this insider information and documentation about ABC News and their horrible practices and how they work to slander Republicans, yada, 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 yada. So nobody really happy, I guess, except for maybe George Stephanopoulos, who doesn't have to do his deposition, and maybe whoever's in charge of building the President Trump Memorial Library, because they got $15 million, which they should just build a whole wing to George Stephanopoulos. There should be like the Stephanopoulos wing of fake newsery. That should be like all the fake news articles, everything that Donald Trump had to encounter as far as fake news goes in his entire presidency should be right there in that wing. There should be a bust of George Stephanopoulos right out front, and it should say, this wing of the President Trump Library is dedicated to George Stephanopoulos, whose lies and propaganda paid for everything you're about to see in this room to the tune of $15 million. So anyway, that's it. That was one of the exciting wins. And there's a lot of wins. There's bad things that happen and there's good things that happen, but every now and then we want to celebrate our wins. And that is one of the wins. Oh, speaking of angry Democrats, you know who else the Democrats are totally angry? The Democrats are furious with ABC News, and they're also really mad at Time Magazine for making Donald Trump the person of the year. They're furious. They are, at this moment, if they haven't already, Democrats are out there canceling their subscriptions to Time Magazine and deleting them off of their bookmarks. They're taking the Time Magazine app on their phone and they're deleting it. And I don't know who subscribes to Time Magazine. I guess it's like an online paywall type thing, but they're losing money like you wouldn't believe, because people are infuriated, totally infuriated that Donald Trump is the person of the year. One of them is Rosie O'Donnell, who had an angry rant online.
Mark Burnett sold America on The Apprentice. We wouldn't be in this position. But you normalized Trump, and that's what Time Magazine did. Man of the year, Donald Trump. Fuck you, Time Magazine. Fuck you, seriously. How about most dangerous man of the year? How about most criminal Man of the Year. How about the worst president we've ever had of the year?
How about the worst president we've ever had of the year? That's a direct quote. That's a direct quote from Rosie O'Donnell. How about the most criminal man of the year? How about the worst president we've ever had of the year? The anger just deletes any and all common sense or intelligence that these people have. But they're furious. They can't believe that Time Magazine would bestow that honor upon Donald Trump, even after everything that Donald Trump has accomplished over this year. And so their media allies who were supposed to bury the truth no matter what, their media allies who were supposed to push the propaganda, and if it meant destroying their own careers in the process, so be it. They were supposed to continue the narrative that Donald Trump was found liable of rape, even though he wasn't. And they were supposed to push Kamala Harris or some other Democrat. Kamala Harris was supposed to be man of the year or person of the year or whatever it is. Instead, it's Donald Trump, the worst president we've ever had of the year. And they can't believe it. They don't like that these media agencies and these media organizations and these iconic media, I guess you would say, I don't even know what you would say. These iconic media brands, that's the word I'm looking for, are now kowtowing to Donald Trump, and they are abandoning their lies and instead realizing that at least for the next 4 years, if they don't tell the truth, there will be consequences. Anyway, we'll have more on that as these media outlets continue to fall and have to revamp themselves for whatever reason. Listen, speaking of media, we are here every single day broadcasting live from Patriot HQ, deep in the heart of Mar-a-Lago. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this. Make sure you're setting the notifications too. Man, the notification bell is probably one of the most important things you can do, because that way you get notified. If you're on YouTube and you hit the notification bell, boom, you're going to find out whenever we have new content up and available. If you're on Rumble or one of our other platforms where we're streaming, as soon as you like this, you're going to get an email. You're going to get some kind of notification that Mark K has posted new content. And we do it all. I did it all weekend long. All weekend long, I was making videos, posting videos. I got my Trump fight cologne in the mail, which is supposed to be a Christmas gift. So I snuck it out of the box. And I tried it, and I did a little, what do you call it? Like a review, an unboxing video, they call it on YouTube, and a review. And then I carefully placed it back. This is kind of funny. I carefully placed it back into the box because I didn't want my wife or anyone to find out. And I put it back as if nothing had happened. I re-glued it. It was amazing. I did a really amazing job. And then I posted the video of my review of the fight cologne. And somebody pointed out that I forgot to put the cap back on the bottle. And they're right. I have it right here. So you can go watch that video a little later on, and you can see for yourself. But listen, like I said, we're going to be doing this kind of stuff. And through the break, we're not going to have live shows because it's Christmas and you want to spend time with your family and I want to spend time with my family. But we will still be posting content. So make sure that you're here for that. And like I said, make sure you subscribe and set those notifications. All right, let's talk drones, shall we? A lot of stuff going on with the drones this weekend. And there is a brand new theory from a guy named, what's his name? I think his name's John Ferguson. Does that sound right? John Ferguson. Yeah, here we go. John Ferguson posted a 9-minute video on TikTok where he had a new theory about these drones. Let me just share this with you. Mystery drones could be trying to find radioactive material, says aerospace CEO. The recent epidemic of reported drone sightings across New York and New Jersey could be due to potential gas leaks or radioactive material. John Ferguson, the CEO of Saxon Aerospace, a drone manufacturer in Kansas, weighed in on the topic in a TikTok post that has since gone viral. Here is what John Ferguson suggested in his now viral TikTok post, in case you missed it.
The only reason why you would ever fly an aircraft, an unmanned aircraft at night, is if you're looking for something, whether it be a person or trying to smell gas.
So there is now this notion that these drones that are flying around at night are flying around at night for a reason. So these drone makers, this guy who's a CEO of Saxon Aerospace or whatever it's called, he said, there's only one reason to fly drones at night, and that is if you're looking for something like gas. but not just gas. There's other things you could be looking for. And as a drone manufacturer with ties to the government, he has high-ranking friends in the government who apparently have loose lips and told him this.
So I spoke to a gentleman a few months ago who was trying to raise an alarm to the highest levels of our government, which they had their ears closed, about this one particular nuclear warhead that he physically put his hands on. He physically touched this warhead that was left over from Ukraine. And he knew that that thing was headed towards the United States.
Okay, so this guy from Kansas who makes drones for the government said I was talking to a government official, and again, this is all just him talking on TikTok. We don't have any corroboration. We don't have any proof of this. This isn't something that the military has come out and said. I doubt that they would. But he's on TikTok saying, I talked to a guy, I know a guy, and this guy told me that these warheads, because, you know, when the Soviet Union fell, all these warheads that were scattered all about in Ukraine and Russia and Georgia and all the other little provinces of the USSR that got busted up, a lot of these warheads disappeared. Sure, we understand that. We've been searching for them ever since. A lot of movies have been made about them. Well, now he's saying, look, a friend of mine touched one of these warheads, saw it, and now knows for a fact that it disappeared and was headed to the United States of America. And wouldn't you know it, maybe, just maybe, these drones are flying around low in the middle of the night so that they can try to find what? Gas or radiation or nuclear waste or a missing Ukrainian military nuclear warhead from the 80s?
My guess, my own guess, is that these drones are not nefarious in intent. If they are, they are, but I doubt it. But if they are drones, the only reason why they would be flying and flying that low is because they're trying to smell something on the ground. That's it. There's no other reason for a drone to be flying in the air other than to piss a bunch of people off at night. That's it. So my belief is they're trying to smell something on the ground. Gas leaks, radioactive material, whatever.
I mean, he says it so nonchalantly, doesn't he? New Jersey, New York, Delaware. This is one of the most densely populated areas in the country, probably the most densely populated country in the area. Up there in New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, you have, I mean, it's not only the seat of power, it's the seat of our economy, the world economy, the global economy. There's millions and millions of people jammed into that little area. And he's nonchalantly saying, look, these drones are flying around probably looking for, I don't know, gas or radioactive material. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that a friend of mine in the military said there's a missing nuclear warhead from Ukraine that was headed to the United States of America? So anyway, that's my thought process. As a drone expert, that's what I would tell you these drones are doing up there.
You know, I believe that they're actually out there trying to smell something that's very important. So anyway, let me know what you think of this video. I'm not trying to gaslight. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just trying to let people know that this is a serious deal. It's only serious for what the potential could be, you know, or for what the potential is. You know, there's a lot of them out there. They're flying all over. They're flying low. They're flying at night. There's no reason for it other than to smell something. So anyway, God bless. I hope you all have a wonderful Merry Christmas, and let me know what you think of the video.
That's my favorite part, by the way. There's so many of them. They're flying low. They're smelling something. I don't know what it is, but it's serious. It's serious. It's probably a missing nuclear warhead. That's my guess. Anyway, Merry Christmas. God bless. God bless. Merry Christmas, everybody, from Saxon Aerospace, unmanned drone makers in Kansas. That video, by the way, and that guy they've gone totally viral. Everybody's talking about it. It's being posted everywhere. It's 9 minutes long on TikTok. And, you know, look, it's a theory for sure. And there's a lot of these theories. And these theories are popping up for one reason and one reason only. And that is because nobody is telling us the truth. Nobody's telling us the truth. And Chris Christie, who, by the way, was the target of a drone-related meme from President Donald Trump. I don't know if you saw this, but on Truth Social, actually on his official X account too, the official X account of the President of the United States of America. Donald Trump posted this, which is a meme showing why there's so many drones in New Jersey. They're actually McDonald's delivery drones. They each have a sack full of burgers, and as you can see, they're delivering them to Chris Christie, who is very hungry and who is chowing down. That is a meme posted by the President-elect of the United States of America on his Truth Social account, as well as his official government-related X account. So anyway, back to Chris Christie. Chris Christie was on with George $15 million man Snuffleupagus, and he said, look, there's a reason why these theories are popping up, and the government is to blame.
They're not answering the questions.
Well, he said they're monitoring it. They haven't seen any unusual activity, and they need more authority.
Let me tell you something. I agree that they need more authority, but to not say that this is not unusual activity, it's just wrong. I lived in New Jersey my whole life. This is the first time that I've noticed drones over my house, and I was in a restaurant in Monmouth County on Friday night. Had people at the bar coming up to me and saying, "Governor Murphy won't tell me anything. The president won't tell me anything. Do you know?" Like, well, I don't know, but I will tell you this. I think this is what happens in our society now, George, because we're used to having things so rapidly. If you don't fill that vacuum, then all the conspiracy theories get filled in there.
If you don't fill that vacuum, all the conspiracy theories get filled in there. By the way, is anyone else not at all shocked that Chris Christie told a story about him being in a restaurant? I was in a restaurant the other night and somebody came up to me. No kidding. No kidding. But anyway, Chris Christie's in a restaurant. He's talking to people and he's saying, look, there's no information coming from the government. So of course you're going to fill the void with conspiracy theories. And the latest is that these drones are hunting something. Now let's break it down. I'm not saying this is true because I don't know. I don't know why there are drones flying all over New Jersey for the past couple of weeks. But here's what we do know. We do know that these eyewitness accounts find that there are, like 50 drones coming off of the ocean, 50 drones in mass numbers, flying low, buzzing people's homes. I mean, that's a lot. Here, there's a guy from News Nation who the other day broadcast a report. I want to play you this because this kind of gives you an idea of exactly what's happening in New Jersey.
When this story first came out a few weeks ago, as a resident of New Jersey, as a journalist, I didn't pay it much credence. I thought it would turn out to be a bunch of pranksters and this would all be over by now. The experience I had last night, however, changed the way I feel about this story completely. What I saw was more sophisticated than I ever imagined. Take a look.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 lights, 6 lights.
I didn't believe what I was seeing, but what was I seeing? We're here in Central Jersey. We've been looking for the past hour. I think we've seen about 40 or 50 of these drones. In fact, there's one over my shoulder right there. One after another, these drones appeared in the night sky. If you look real close, they look like fixed-wing aircraft, about 8 to 10 feet wide, colorful, white blinking lights.
That is not a plane.
Definitely not an airplane, but what was it? Hours earlier, I was invited to join the Ocean County Sheriff Department. They launched their own drones to see if they could intercept the mysterious aircraft New Jersey residents have been reporting in recent weeks. The department says these mystery drones evade detection because they don't give off heat like regular drones. Why do you think that is?
We don't know. It's just something that we haven't, it's not something that we've had our hands on. It's not something that we've experienced.
Okay, so let me pause that for just a minute. Oh, wait, did I pause? I may have just messed it up. So these drones evade detection because they don't give off heat, which means that when their drones go up there and try to find these drones in the middle of the night, they can't because they're not giving off any heat like normal drones or like anything with an engine. Anything that's spinning or has an engine or is battery powered or lithium ion or gas powered even, they produce heat, except for these drones. Well, that's interesting. That seems like a sophisticated amount of technology to not just have drones that can fly around doing whatever it is for hours on end, week after week, but to have them not give off any heat so that they can evade radar detection or any kind of heat-seeking technology. That's definitely not a hobbyist's drone. And again, the fact that there's so many of them, 13 of them were chasing a Coast Guard vessel out in the ocean. So it's really lends credence to this whole idea that this is the government doing some kind of op, and this government operation is something that is serious in nature. So if these drones are looking for nuclear radiation, if they're out there and they also aren't giving off heat, well, that would also help them find anything that is, whether it's a gas leak or errant nuclear reactors or whatever. I mean, these are the sheer number of drones, the ability of these drones to fly around a large portion of the area and to disappear seemingly to someplace. They take off from somewhere, they land from somewhere, and no one seems to be able to find out where. And then on top of all of that, you have to look at the area where they are. This is this is New York, New Jersey, Delaware. Well, who lives in New York, New Jersey, and Delaware? President Donald J. Trump has several properties in New York, Trump Tower, New Jersey, Bedminster Gulf, and Delaware is home to Joe Biden. I mean, really, that area is the seat of power currently in the United States of America. And that's where these drones are. And they're not attacking anybody. They've been, after 2 or 3 weeks, if they really were nefarious, wouldn't they be doing whatever it is they were supposed to be doing that was bad? So there is some credence to this idea that these drones could be search drones. They could be reconnaissance drones. They could be looking for something that is bad for Americans. The problem is we don't know that because the government is telling us nothing. In fact, John Kirby and Alejandro Mayorkas, they were on TV this weekend basically telling us absolutely nothing.
President-elect Donald Trump, he just called on the Biden administration for you guys to either release any information it has about these mysterious drone sightings or shoot the drones out of the sky. How do you respond to the president-elect?
Well, first of all, the statements I've made already are the principal message that I want to communicate to the American public. We haven't seen anything unusual. We know of no threat. Secondly, we have gone to Congress repeatedly asking for more authority to counter drone activity. And we have also asked for more authority to give to the state and local officials under our supervision, because it correctly notes those authorities need to be expanded.
All right, yeah, the whole authority thing, yada, yada, yada. That's just Alejandro Mayorkas trying to get more money from the government and more power from the government. But listen to the first thing he said, which was what Chris Christie touched on. We haven't seen anything out of the ordinary. We haven't seen anything out of the ordinary or anything that should cause concern. If you hadn't seen anything out of the ordinary, this wouldn't be such a big story. If New Jersey were usually flooded with aerial drones night after night after night, 50 or so of them buzzing people's homes with lights blinking, coming out of the ocean seemingly mysteriously and disappearing, and God knows where they are or whose they are, and the government saying nothing whatsoever, that is out of the ordinary. It is not ordinary for anyone to see this number of large-scale drones that evade detection. The whole thing is out of the ordinary. So the fact that Alejandro Mayorkas got on there and said, that's out of the ordinary, that's nothing out of the ordinary, proves that he's lying about something, and he knows something that he doesn't want to say. Then he said something really bizarre.
We believe that there are cases of mistaken identity where drones are actually small aircraft and people are misidentifying them. There very well may be drones in the sky, of course, but those are commercially available. One can go into a convenience store and buy a small drone. There are also commercial drones as well. Okay, now you can't go into a convenience store and buy a drone like this. You can't go into a convenience store and buy an 8-foot wide drone that flies around for hours on end, undetected, not giving off any heat. You can't buy that at a Wawa or a Sheetz or anywhere. I don't even think you can get those at Walmart these days. But Alejandro Mayorkas is like, no, this is just misidentified aircraft. That's what this is. We just don't know what these are. John Kirby tried to say something similar to Martha McCallum.
Do you know and you can't say? Can you tell me that?
No, I'm telling you, Martha, I'm telling you, we don't
You don't know.
We
let me ask you this.
corroborate every single sighting. Some of them we have, not all of them, and we're working hard to do that. We know people are afraid of it. We know people have concerns. We have those same concerns.
Yeah, because they're
what I
flying over
can
your
tell you-
house, and it sounds
Of
like there are
course.
motorcycles landing on your roof.
Of
so
course.
let me ask you this. One, person who watched this online said they think it's a Pterodynamics Transwing Drone XP4, which is being developed by the U.S. Navy as a recon and logistics drone capable of picking up and dropping off packages between land and moving ships in high seas and winds. They're suggesting it's an American company. We asked the company. They said we can't speculate on the origin of the drones that are flying over New Jersey. So is that an avenue that has been inspected?
It's one of those PX-498 drones that the Navy's using for reconnaissance. Yeah, you can just get those at any convenience store, according to Alejandra Mayorkas. She contacted the company and they said, we don't want to speculate. We're not going to speculate as to what's going on there. You know who will speculate? John Ferguson, by the way, from Saxon Aerodynamics. He has no problem speculating at all.
So I spoke to a gentleman a few months ago who was trying to raise an alarm to the highest levels of our government, which they had their ears closed, about this one particular nuclear warhead that he physically put his hands on. He physically touched this warhead that was left over from Ukraine. And he knew that thing was headed towards the United States.
If you physically touch the warhead, you just grab it, throw it in your coat and run away and, bring it to a safe location. Don't let it come into the United States so that these drones have to fly around and figure something out. So that's one explanation that's popping up. There have been several others. These drones were seen yesterday flying around in the heavy rain. And again, if anyone knows about drones, these are your typical, regular, average, everyday, ordinary convenience store drone doesn't fly very well in the rain. So this is clearly not your typical, average, everyday, ordinary convenience store drone that is flying around New Jersey. And there doesn't seem to be any end in sight either. So we're going to have to wait and see what the next thing the government tells us about these drones are, because right now it seems like we're not getting a lot of information. We're not getting a lot of information from anyone. Listen, speaking of getting information, President Trump had a busy weekend too. He appointed a couple new people to important staff positions, which we want to get to. He also went to the Army-Navy game, which, spoiler alert, Navy won, which was weird. They weren't even favored. And he had a lot of Army-Navy personnel and future cabinet and administration officials with him, which we'll discuss again. And he also got, this was really interesting, he also got props from a guy that you wouldn't typically expect him to get props from amidst all of this hubbub regarding his cabinet, especially Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard. Mitt Romney was doing the talk shows, and I think it was CNN. Mitt Romney was out there saying, look, Donald Trump said he was going to do this. Donald Trump did it, and you can't really fault the guy for doing that.
Donald Trump won. He won overwhelmingly. He said what he was going to do, and that's what he's doing. I mean, people are saying, oh, I don't like this appointment or this policy that he's talking about. But those are the things he said he was going to do when he ran. So you can't complain about someone who does what he said he was going to do. And I agree with him on a lot of policy fronts. I disagree with him on some things. But it's like, OK, give him a chance to do what he said he's going to do and see how it works out.
Look at that. On State of the Union, Mitt Romney saying, look, everybody, you have to calm down. You know why? Because Donald Trump is doing exactly what Donald Trump told us he was going to do. There should be no secret. This is not like, surprise, I'm doing everything differently. Joe Biden and the Democrats typically run on one platform and then totally turn it around and do the opposite. Or they run on a bunch of things they're not allowed to do, and they know they're not allowed to do them, but they don't want to tell the voters that because they want to get votes. Like, for example, when they said, oh, sure, we're going to pay back all of your student loans. That's completely in our purview. We 100% have the authority to do that. And then everyone goes, great, I have student loans, I'll vote for Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Oh, I'm sorry, we apparently overreached. We don't have the authority to do that. My bad. Thanks for your vote. Donald Trump says, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut down the border. I'm going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to deport all these illegal immigrants. We're going to make sure that our military is strong again. We're going to get rid of DE&I. We're going to get rid of woke generals. We're going to make sure that we're going to make sure that we fight and win wars quickly and with as few human casualties as possible on either side. And that's what we're going to be focused on. And I'm going to, also going to clean out that deep state, going to drain that swamp finally. I'm going to bring in a bunch of outsiders, and we're going to make it so that the FBI, the CIA, the IRS, the SEC, none of these organizations can be weaponized against a political opponent again, Democrat or Republican. That's what we're going to do. And then he got elected, and now he's doing it. And Mitt Romney's like, you can't complain. You can only complain if he wasn't doing it. And so far, so good. Today at Mar-a-Lago, Trump and SoftBank, the CEO of SoftBank, are unveiling a $100 billion investment in the United States of America. President-elect announces a new investment with Masayoshi Son at Mar-a-Lago. It's $100 billion. It was just last week, you may remember, that Donald Trump on Truth Social said, if any company pledges to invest $1 billion or more in the United States of America, guess what we're going to do? We're going to make it easy to do. We're going to cut out the regulation. We're going to fast track the permits that you need and the licenses you need. And it's going to happen like that. We are not going to bog you down with regulation. Regulations will be gone. $1 billion buys you a fast pass to the front of the line to invest in the United States of America. And apparently, SoftBank and Masayoshi Son heard that, and they flew to Mar-a-Lago, and today they're making an announcement that SoftBank plans to invest at least $100 billion in U.S. projects over the next 4 years. The Japanese internet and telecommunications company estimates that its U.S.-based investments will create 100,000 jobs, focused on artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, and plans to complete the work before Trump leaves office in 2029. 100,000 jobs focused on AI and emerging technologies. Now, here's something interesting. Those jobs, those 100,000 jobs based on AI and emerging technologies, a lot of those will be Americans, but a lot of them won't be. They'll be immigrants. And they're going to be immigrants that come to the United States legally, that are vetted, and that are going to benefit the United States of America. These are immigrants who bring with them advanced skill and knowledge and research and the capability to build and contribute to the United States' technological advancement, the advancement of the world, and of course our economy, which is fine. You want immigrants who do that. You don't want immigrants who come here illegally and are a drain on our economy, and who commit crimes and bring drugs with them and eat the cats and eat the dogs and eat the pets of the people who live there. You don't want those immigrants. You want immigrants who are invited here, who are vetted, who come through legal channels, and who work to benefit the United States of America. And they're going to come from India, and they're going to come from Pakistan, and they're going to come from Japan, and they're going to come from Korea. And they're going to come here to the United States of America. And Donald Trump is going to make sure of it. SoftBank is going to make sure of it. And what we're going to have at the end of 4 years is we are going to have a brand new immigrant workforce that is building multi-million-dollar technological advances, billion-dollar AI and technology companies here in the United States of America to become a world leader in advanced technologies. And whoa, side benefit, all those other countries are going to lose that skilled labor. And if those countries lose those skilled laborers and we get them, then we win. And winning is better than losing. That's just a fact. Nobody can argue that. Nobody can argue that. Somebody who knows that is Paul Stone, the CEO of Colonial Metals Group. So excited to have back on the program, the CEO of Colonial Metals Group, Paul Stone, joins us. Paul, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. Lots to talk about, of course. Now, wait, you're not where the drones are, right? You're not getting buzzed by drones at the moment?
No, we might be getting buzzed down here. I'm near Mar-a-Lago,
Yeah.
so there might be drones we can't see. UAPs perhaps, but no, I'm not in New Jersey area.
We always talk about how in Florida, I mean, the one guy shot down a Walmart drone in Lake City last week, so there's not likely going to be any drone activity around here because people take matters into their own hands. Very busy at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know if you heard this, but SoftBank, the CEO of SoftBank is there today making a pledge for a $100 billion investment in the United States over the next 4 years, which consequently is how long President Trump will be in office. And that goes right along with Donald Trump's pledge to deregulate or push through any and all foreign companies who are looking to invest $1 billion or more. It seems like it's happening. I mean, he announced it last week. It's happening this week. Do you see that kind of promise of deregulation or, just really expedited approval of any permits or whatnot for foreign entities coming into the United States? Do you see that as something that will enhance foreign investment over the next 4 years?
Oh, absolutely. It'll enhance foreign investment. And you are, one of the biggest issues in our democracy with the government bureaucracy interfering with how it would actually flow is red tape and just silly hoops to have to jump through. And so many agencies don't even connect very well to the others to try and get something done. So it stymies the willingness of people wanting to jump through all that trouble to get a business going or expand a business that's already going here in America.
New York Stock Exchange last week, President Trump was there. He was ringing the bell, which was very exciting. And he had a couple digs at Jim Cramer, which I thought were really exciting as well. And then he's kind of been on a tear lately about Bitcoin, which you and I were talking about too, because Bitcoin reaching $100,000. Donald Trump took full credit for that on Truth Social. And as a purveyor of metals, or as somebody who invests in metals, gold and silver and platinum, and sees the long-term value of that, is Bitcoin just another one of these trendy investments? Is there long-term, are there long-term gains to be had? We've seen it, we've seen it skyrocket to 60, back down to 19, now up to 100. What's the deal with Bitcoin as opposed to other investments?
Well, I'm not a trained economist. I'm not a financial advisor. Sure. I'm not giving anyone any financial advice. And when I get questions like this, because it would require my crystal ball to be accurate to be able to really give you a valuable answer, I just turn it back in the form of a question.
Yeah.
Is computerized money more real than printed money?
I mean, that's a great question. Is it? Is printed money more real?
They're both artificial.
Yeah.
Because unless you want to start hooking up your 3D printers to protein goop and printing your chicken dinner, right? Or your carbohydrates, and then you can print asparagus.
Yeah.
You need your starches, whatever. If you're not going to live like that, if you don't think life could really go on normally printing dinner from goop, then you want a real chicken, which ate grain and pecked at the ground for a couple years. And farmers had to feed them and nurture them and keep them healthy, keep them from diseases and stuff. So a lot of stuff goes into real stuff, and gold and silver is real. It's not man-made. And anything man-made has issues. Just look at buildings falling down, bridges collapsing, look at the electrical grid, look at the plumbing grid. All that stuff, if it's man-made, has a drop-dead date on it unless you maintain it and support it. It's going to have breaks. Mother Nature has been engineering perfection for millions of years, billions of years. And so in her cycles, it might throw us curveballs once in a while, but it's engineered to perfection. It works without any need of support from any outside source. Printed money is outside the economy. It's not created from within the economy, from production.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fake, which makes your economy fake. The next idea is, as the dollar nears worthlessness, utter worthlessness, it's only worth 3 cents today.
Yeah.
Buying power. You need solutions, but no one wants to turn back to the analog world of living in the real world where gold and silver would have suitability. They turn to tech. They turn to AI. Well, how much money does a robot spend in the economy? So if you automate all the McDonald's and Burger Kings and Wendy's in the world and the KFCs, and all those jobs go where? But the company's saving a ton of money because now there's no health care and there's no BS to pay for and there's no more hourly wage to pay for. You just need support engineers from India and Pakistan to support the AI solution. And people go through the drive-thru and they get their food. But how much money does AI spend in the economy? And you can't tell me that you're going to replace all the workers at fast food restaurants, that they're going to go get tech degrees to support the AI solutions that fired their jobs. AI spends no money in the economy. It just permanently unemploys a massive segment to your workforce. So if we're a consumer spending driven economy, 70% of our economy is driven by you and me mostly frivolously spending money so we can feel good,
right? Because
we're so damn miserable inside, all caused at the hand of the government choice making over 5 decades. How does our economy do now that everything's automated? You have no consumers that can buy anything. So the government prints more money to hand out bigger welfare checks and unemployment checks permanently.
And then you have
real is real.
You also lose on that tax revenue too, because you're not taxing those AI robots.
Yes. Well, the government can just print its own money.
Right.
It doesn't have to tax anyone anymore. They're so far down the road with modern monetary theory. They literally believe that money is a commodity. And just like farmers make corn, governments make money like a commodity, which is all hooey. Because if I had all the farmers around the world grow 1 trillion ears of corn, every year of corn would have the same nutritional value as the other ones. But if I add $1 trillion into our economy from out of thin air, it dilutes the potency, the nutritional value of the dollars that are already in existence. So that's BS. So yes, technically they can create $1 trillion a day, and a Starbucks could be $40. But eventually the whole system burns because of hyperinflation, and the labor segment to the economy can't get a pay raise fast enough. And that inflation doesn't mean anything if our wages are going up. So if your wages went up 8% a year since the year 2000, as the cost of living has gone up an average of 8% since 2000, you don't care. But it hasn't. Wages have barely doubled over the last, since the year 2010. I think they're up 80%. But cost of living is up 300%.
Yeah.
That's where the drowning comes from. And as the government, in my latest Substack, I wrote China Made in America, as our government decided that they were going to hand all of our manufacturing jobs off to a communist country, and they knew they were communists because Tiananmen Square happened in '89, and then they decided to start doing business full-throated with China in 1990, that's evil. So you gut the manufacturing base in America, you hand all that wealth to China, $288 trillion has flowed through China's government in revenue and their economy since the year 1990, just a ballpark number. And they were nothing in 1990. They were nothing. They weren't a threat to anyone. They had no know-how. They couldn't make a frickin' plumbing valve. They've stolen it all the technology. They stole it all. When our tech chopper crashed getting Osama bin Laden, where do you think Pakistan sold the chopper to? China. Yeah. So they could reverse engineer all of our tech. It's gross. So they manage your money, and now they're going to lead the world into a Bitcoin fueled American what? And no one's ever been here before. No one's ever done that. The American people are not science projects. Our financial future is not supposed to be risked to theory.
Wow. So investing in Bitcoin is not the proper way to build an economy.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, because you could have made money. You can make money in things that go up and down.
That is true. I'm
not saying that. I'm saying as far as the functionality of it, who's going to do payroll in Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's nowhere near what the it's basically the same though as our paper money, which you're saying is totally worthless.
Both are artificial.
Yeah. All right, Paul.
Because they aren't from the earth.
Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals Group. Where can people find your Substack, by the way? I guess on Substack.
Yeah, if they just go to Substack.com and then in the search, just type in the Paul Stone.
Yeah. And
the last one is pretty shocking.
The what?
And I'm pretty good at taking complicated stuff down to the ground.
Yeah.
So that anyone can get like, whoa.
I know. That's what I feel like.
80% of the stuff bought in America was made in America. Today, 11%.
Yeah. It's totally been outsourced over the last 30 years for sure. And as you pointed out, nobody wants to bring it back because nobody wants to work for an acceptable wage as opposed to what the price would be for that product.
But we can't get the acceptable wage because the government prints money to pay its debts, to pay its bills. It doesn't have another idea to generate revenue, so it just creates it out of thin air, which destroys the currency and our life experiences here in America. 70% of the exit polls, 70% of the people said essentially life in America sucks.
Right. How do we?
That's what they said.
How do we reverse the printing of money though? Extensive. I mean, is that something that's gonna stop, or is just? I mean, is it too late?
No, because the bills keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It was all created when 60, 70 million peak earners called baby boomers started retiring in 97.
Right.
You never had the cost side. You just had 60, 70 million people producing. In 97, they left production and went to cost side of your ledger. And the government could see that coming because they've certainly seen people get older.
Right.
But they had no solution to it because they're cowards, because to solve that, they would have had to say, we need to bring people south from the Rio Grande, good people. We need to interview them, set up kiosks like a Marines recruiting station and all the big cities down there and bring good people up here to offset the retirees with new workers coming in. Bernanke testified again, for this in Congress. He said, we need immigration badly to offset the baby boomers retiring. So those costs aren't going away. They only get worse, bigger, which means the government has to print more because the economy, the 35 trillion in debt, really, Mark, is just a sign of how much money, how much money in bills we've been presented with, that the economy couldn't produce enough revenue to cover those costs. That's how bankrupt we are. And we're fooling around with more money for Bitcoin or this investment. It's all virtual stuff. The only way to save the dollar is to stop printing any money. You stop printing money, there's going to be a lot of belt tightening and a lot of throwing up and a lot of pain and bloodshed. But Mother Nature doesn't care.
Right.
He says if you're an oversized deer population, eventually you'll shrink because there's not enough to eat.
Interesting.
And we're hoisted out onto this precipice of artificial finance from all this printed money. And when that dollar reads 1/10 of a penny, you're going to have problems that no one can a firestorm that no one can put out.
So invest in gold and silver and platinum.
Yeah, it's certainly gold and silver. Those have been money before. Platinum and palladium have never been. Diversification is a great thing. I'm sure it's attractive to people, but this is more of, when you're under attack, you circle the wagons. You don't run in 50 different directions. You take that hill. So if you're under threat and you're looking for safety, it's usually just going to be a couple things that will do the job, and that's historically gold and silver.
Paul Stone, CEO, Colonial Metals Group. Check it out. Get your free gold guide at freegoldguide.com/K-K-A-Y-E, freegoldguide.com/K-A-Y-E. And check out his Substack too. Thanks so much for being here, man. It's always fascinating to hear you speak about these things, and I really appreciate it.
I just try to bring, illumination to basic things that seem complicated for my American brothers and sisters to start asking questions about. Questions mean more than the answers, and then they'll be on a path to resolving something for themselves.
Well, mission accomplished.
Hoorah.
Yeah, I love talking to Paul. Paul Stone, whenever you talk to him, he just starts very slow and quiet, but then all of a sudden, man, you get him ramped up, you get him fired up, and he's gone. And then he's just mesmerizing. I know I'm supposed to be interviewing him, but I just sit here and I'm just like listening to him going, wow, this is fascinating. And then he stops talking and I realize, oh, I have to ask my next question because that's how interviews work. But I just get so enveloped in what he says. It's really, really great stuff. And of course, we appreciate him being a sponsor of this program, as well as a great guy and a fantastic interview. You can get that free gold guide again at freegoldguide.com/K. There is breaking news about these drones. Right after we began the program here today, about an hour ago, President Donald Trump was interviewed and he confirmed the government knows what the drones are and they're just not telling us.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know that they're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been? Do you have any reason to think they're?
That's a great. It's a great. President Trump's not going to comment on what he's received intelligence briefings on. But there he is. He's saying the government knows what's going on. Something strange is going on. It's not nefarious because they would have blown it out of the sky. And that was him, by the way, with SoftBank CEO. That was at Mar-a-Lago. But he said, look, he knows President Trump is the president-elect, and he's going to be president in fewer than 40 days, 35 days from now. President Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States. They're not going to leave him in the lurch when there's drones flying around. His point is, we know what they are. They're not foreign. They're probably us. In fact, that's his way of saying, don't worry, folks. But he's saying something strange is going on, and the government should tell us. The government should let us know what's happening. And whether they're hunting for nuclear waste or nuclear weapons or whatever, nobody really knows. But if you watch again, here, let me play it again for you, because I think it is important to hear and this is the difference, once again, between President Donald Trump and the current administration when you see how these situations and these questions are handled and answered.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey and ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the they're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster.
No, yeah, he's going to stay. He's going to stay in Mar-a-Lago. So President Trump saying, look, of course the military knows where they are. Of course the military knows where they're coming from. We do have the most sophisticated military there is. So the fact that they've been going around for so long, the fact that they're low flying, the fact that there's been no harm done to any of the people other than, stress and freaking out and lost sleep and anger and anxiety, but, no actual physical harmful threats like that, shows that the government does know what's happening. The problem, though, is that they're keeping it secret. The problem is not that these drones are flying around, but that there's panic being created because of the lack of transparency from the government. But lack of transparency from the government is what Joe Biden does best. That's what Joe Biden does best. We'll keep tabs on this story. And of course, if President Trump says anything else at all, if President Trump has any more comments, or if the government comes out with any more comments, or if we find out what they are. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled to direct your attention to something else that is really cool. And that is our K's Kids celebration. It's the 12 days of Christmas. And this is we did 5, 6, 7. This is day number 8. That means we've just got 1 week left. The 8th. The 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Friday will be our final day of this year's 12 days of Christmas. And I have to tell you, it's been so amazing and so successful. And today's kid is one of, I have to tell you, this story is unbelievable to me. And this gift is one of the coolest gifts I think we've ever seen. And this kid's personality is just incredible. So here you go. Please enjoy day number 8 in this year's K's Kids 12 Days of Christmas. All right, so my man Silas is coming in. He's 18, and this kid had a hemorrhagic stroke. They had to put him in a medically induced coma. He goes to therapy all the time, like rehab, but he loves Jordans. So we decided we're gonna bring him in here and give him a pair of Jordans. That's a lie. We're gonna give him 3 pairs of Jordans. It's gonna be a slam dunk. See what I did there? Merry Christmas! How's it going?
Doing well.
Are you Silas?
Yes.
How you doing? I'm Mark.
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Come on, have a seat.
All right.
This is great. I didn't scare you, did I?
No.
Did they tell you why you're here today?
They said I was being interviewed.
That's right. Did they tell you were being interviewed by a guy who's dressed like Santa Claus?
That they withheld.
Oh, okay.
They did not tell me that.
Can you tell us how you got involved with Dreams Come True? Because you had something. You were taking a test or something. Is that right? What? Can you tell us the story? What happened?
I was taking the SAT, and then after I was done, my head started hurting really bad. So then I went home, and my dad was calling my name, and I wasn't responding. So then they realized something was wrong, so they called the ambulance.
Yeah.
And then they took me to the hospital, and they said that I'd had 2 aneurysms.
Whoa. And that was right after you took the SAT, and your head started hurting, and you weren't responsive, and you had 2 aneurysms. Did they pop?
Yeah, the 2 arteries in my brain ballooned and then they burst.
Wow. And so what happened? What was the treatment for that? Did they have to do surgery or something?
Yes, I went into brain surgery immediately.
That's crazy. And you didn't know anything? You just thought maybe you were thinking too hard during the SAT? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Did you get your score back?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you do?
I had 1250.
That's great, man. That's better than I. That's amazing. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And how are you now? What's the prognosis? Have the doctors told you? Have you gotten like an all clear? Is there more to do or?
They said my brain is fully healed.
Oh, good.
And they said I could start driving again, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess you couldn't drive after that, huh?
Yeah, I'm hoping they're correct.
Yeah. And now, are you graduating this year?
Yes, sir.
Where do you go to school?
Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Oh, wow. I hear your dad works there.
Yes.
What does he do?
He's the principal.
He's the principal. So you go to school where your dad's the principal.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah?
I'm kind of used to it because my mom was my elementary school principal.
Your mom was your elementary school principal?
Yes.
Wow. So are the other kids scared of you? Do you ever use that to your advantage? Do teachers treat you better?
No, I'm just like a normal student.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm sure that's not true at all. Before we wrap this up, I just had one more question. Since, it's Christmas time and I'm dressed like Santa Claus.
Yes.
And we've got all these decorations. And since you're here, I thought it'd be great if we could celebrate Christmas a little bit early.
Okay.
Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, cool. What we do is every year we, I have a very popular podcast and live stream. A lot of people watch and listen to the show. And we raise money for something we call Case Kids.
Yeah.
And at Christmas time, we work with Dreams Come True when they introduce us to kids like you or adults like you now. And they say, hey, these kids might enjoy a special Christmas present. So if you don't mind, and if you're totally okay with it, would you like to get a special Christmas present right now?
Oh, sure.
Yeah? I have these jingle bells here. I want you to grab those. And on the count of 3, we'll ring the jingle bells. And then the elf will appear with your gift.
The elf?
The elf.
All right.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. There's the elf. Wow. Look at that. You got a stack of gifts there.
It's like magic.
All right. This is gift number 1.
It appears to be Jordans.
It appears to be Jordans. Do you like Jordans?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any Jordans?
No, not.
You don't have any Jordans?
No, but I like how they look.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, look at this. This appears to be... Oh, I see the 23.
Oh, and they're the ones.
Oh, they're the one. These are the ones?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. These are the ones.
These are the ones I like.
Excellent. They're blue, they're white,
Yeah.
What size are you?
12.
What size are those?
12.
Hey, we got the right. That's fantastic. All right, so you got a pair of Jordans.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Now, not only are you the principal's son, but you have some Jordans.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's open the other ones and see. Let's see what else you got here. This is exciting. He had no Jordans, and now he has a pair of Jordans.
Oh, more shoes.
What does that look like?
Looks like more Jordans.
It's more Jordans. This is amazing. You've just doubled the number of pairs of Jordans you own.
Yeah. Oh, these are nice.
Oh, look at those. Those are pretty. I'm a little jealous. Look at those. Wow.
Black and gold.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, these are nice.
There's one more gift. Any idea what that could be?
Some more shoes.
Maybe. All right. Well, let's
Possibly Jordans.
Possibly Jordans. Yeah.
Oh, these are nice.
Oh, it's more Jordans.
These can go in my school clothes.
Oh, is that? Wait, what are your school colors?
Navy blue and gold.
Okay, well there you go.
Navy blue and gray.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Look at that. So you got not 1, not 2, but 3 pairs of Jordans.
Yeah.
I hope that's something that you're going to enjoy.
I will.
Oh yeah. Oh, perfect. And they're all size 12, so they should all fit. And look, like I said, this was fun. We just wanted to come in and meet you and say thank you. And we're all thinking of you and praying for you. And I know you've had a rough year, but there's a lot of folks who've been on your side. And Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3 pairs of Jordans. You know what's really exciting to me is that when I was a kid, when I was 18 years old, everybody wanted Jordans. And now, decades later, people still want Jordans. Heck, Vans are the same way. I had the same pair of Vans when I was 14 years old that I have today, now that I'm well over the age of 14 years old. But again, another successful Case Kid, another successful surprise gift that we were able to give to a child with just an incredible medical journey. And as you can see, smart kid, intelligent, well-mannered, courageous, and so positive. And that's why we love doing this every single year. And that's why we're glad that we can do it for 12 days. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more days of Christmas to go, which is very, Very exciting. Listen, we're going to go back on drone duty. We're going to continue to monitor the situation with the drones. We're going to continue to find out everything that we can about them. Don't forget to subscribe, BT Dubs, sorry, Keith, to this podcast. And make sure not only you're subscribed, but you're liking and you're setting them notifications so you can get notified. Later today, I'm going to be posting more content. Could be a live, could be a long form interview, could be a short, could be both. You're never going to know. Plus, we go live every day, noon Eastern, 11 Central, and we want to make sure that you're here for that as well. So like, subscribe, set the notifications, because there's, as you can see, the information is always coming out fast and furious. The information is constantly changing. Sometimes the information doesn't come out at all, and we need to be able to keep you posted on what's happening. We need to be able to speculate on what the government's not telling you. We need to let you know who your enemies are, whether it's in the media or in the Democrat Party or in your own party, because there's enemies in all of them. And the one way we can all do that is by coming together each and every day, dissecting the news, looking deeper for the truth, not taking anything for granted, and making sure that every single day we're getting the information we need. We're getting the inspiration that we need. We're getting the enlightenment. And most importantly, we're having fun and staying entertained. Because if we can do all of those things on the daily, then we will continue to fight. We will continue to win. And we will continue to save the Republic. Yay. Oh, also, if you haven't yet downloaded our daily Trump podcast, the 47 Daily, go to the47daily.com. Every morning we bring you the news specifically related to President Donald Trump, his transition team, his administration, and all the things coming out of the White House once he begins his first 100 days and his next 4 years in office. The47daily.com. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.